Hello. Hello YouTube. It has been like 10 months. I think my last video was like just at the end of December, just for the new year. I'm here. I'm alive. I don't know why I'm specifying that I'm alive. I'm always alive until the time that I'm not. Ha ha ha. Today I kind of wanted to sit down and talk about what it's been like, because I've now been out as trans for a year, well, over a year now, because it was October 2021. Hi Bubba, you want to come up here? It was October 2021 when I came out originally. Wednesday's so beautiful. Look at her. Look at the Bubba. And so yeah, in that time I legally changed my name, came out to everyone in my life. Is that a spot? Oh. And I spoke about it a bit in my last video, I think. In regards of the name change thing, I think that has been one of the most interesting things this year, because I feel like when I first changed my name, there was this whole like adrenaline rush of like, yeah, everyone's calling me Riley, yeah. And then I feel like I went through this phase where my brain was like, is this fake? Are you getting everyone to call? Are you getting everyone to call you this name though it's not your name? And I was like, but it is my name, it's legally my name. And I feel like I've gotten used to it much more now, but initially there was this sense of like, well, not initially, but like after it settled in, there was this sense of like, oh, I don't know. But my old name didn't feel right. I don't mean either, because it's not that Riley didn't feel right, but like, it wasn't like my brain was like, oh, just call yourself your old name, because that wasn't an option. But a year in, I'm very happy being called Riley. It was a name I had in my head for many, many years, and something that it was always special to me, and I was always like, I'll call a dog it, or I'd call a kid it, or like, I just wanted to use the name in some way in my life. Like, I'd watch TV shows with people in called Riley, because there was people in it called Riley, because I was like, I love that name. And so I don't know if that's why when I called myself Riley, whether I was a bit like, kind of felt weird about it, because there was that sense of like, is this allowed to be my name? Like, because I was used to being everyone else's name, I think. But everyone's been chill about it. I haven't been dead named in a long while. Well, apart from by my family, because apparently they are incapable of remembering a lot of information. Well, not even a lot of information. They struggle with names and pronouns. They sort of try, but they struggle. But like people that I see every day kind of thing, or regularly in my life and at work, whatever, have done really well with it. One of my closest friends, Katie, from day one has just been like fantastic, and I love her so much. Yeah, during all this time I learned about something called top surgery. Well, I knew it existed previously. I didn't know it existed for trans people. I feel like that's what my brain was at. My brain was at like, oh, I know people who've had cancer, like breast cancer, like get top surgery. But one, I didn't realize that trans people could get top surgery, and two, I didn't realize I could get top surgery. And I was always one of those people that was like, no, I'm never gonna get surgery. I see too many people that like want surgery, and then they get another surgery, another surgery, another surgery. And I was like, in hindsight, I'm like, I was being really naive, and really, I was grouping it all together, and actually, I don't think that's actually every single person's experience. Not every person out there who seeks some form of surgery ends up like addicted or unsatisfied. Especially gender affirming surgery, it's very specific, and I'd never really looked into it. And then when I did, I was like, you fool Riley, you fool. And so I kind of opened my heart to the idea. It was almost like I spent years trying to tell myself to just live with my chest, and I spent years like kind of binding it using different methods, and then like in the last year or so wearing a like Spectrum binder, and like I almost had to get used to the idea that I was allowed to have this. I don't know that just because I was born and had this chest growth I have to keep it, when in reality it's like, no. I think accepting that I wasn't cis was really helpful, because it was kind of like, I feel like in my brain I was like, oh well, if I was cis I would have this expectation that I was supposed to have a chest. But cis people get top surgery as well, and they're still cis. Like, it's not like solely a trans thing, or a kind of trans want, shall we say. But yeah, it really helped me to get in touch more with who I feel I am on the inside. I don't know that I definitely will, but I think perhaps post-surgery as well, once I'm healed up, I'll probably go on low-dose testosterone as well. Just because I feel like that's something I wish to pursue. I'd like my voice to be deeper, and I would like to not immediately be read as a woman whenever someone sees me. And that, it's not just that, it's not about how people see me, it's about how I see myself. And I do feel like part of my identity I do feel like part of my identity lies within masculinity, and kind of, I feel like the phrase demi-boy is a good one to describe me. I still consider myself non-binary, I still use they them pronouns, but I do feel like I share part of my identity as half, like, I feel like I'm part trans guy and part neutral alien. I don't know what I'm about. So during all of this, a really helpful tool has been Reddit. And I hear people shit on Reddit all the time, and like as a teenager, my boyfriend at the time was really into Reddit, and I was like, oh, it's just a meme website, blah, blah, blah. It's like so stupid. Like I don't know why I had these stupid opinions, because like actually Reddit has been a really helpful resource for me. I mean, maybe like different aspects of Reddit, I don't know, but kind of the trans Reddit and the top surgery subreddit and stuff has been incredibly helpful and informative. And so I just want to say thank you to Reddit. And it kind of helped me learn where to start the process. And so my current surgeon of choice, which hopefully it will all go well with, is Miles Berry. And so through Reddit and information online, I learned that he accepts letters from Gender GP. So as a trans person, or a non-binary person specifically, you need letters from either counsellors or psychiatrists that have essentially assessed you and diagnosed you with persistent gender dysphoria, or kind of ongoing consideration of therapy, and that you thought about it, and to say that like nothing you're doing is spontaneous, and that you know the information, you know the risks. It's not just like you wake up one day and you're like, yeah, there we go. So I had to have 2 of those during this time, and I was so nervous for my first appointment. Like I went on my tablet, because it's like a video appointment, and Lem, what are you doing, Lem? So I went on my tablet, and it was a video link that they sent you to join this appointment, and when I tried to log in with it, it was logging in with my dead name email, and I forgot that my tablet was linked to my old email because it was set up a long time ago. And I was trying to request to join it, and I was like panicking, going, oh no, I'm like requesting from the wrong email address, it's not the email I've given them, and it wasn't working. So then I was trying to connect on my phone, and the answer, and I was just like, one moment, I'm just trying to do it. And Marianne, the woman I spoke to, was just lovely. She was like, it's fine, no rush, don't worry. But like this appointment, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, cost me £150 to book. And so I was kind of panicking about it going wrong, because even though top surgery is going to cost a lot more than that, I'm like, I still don't want to waste any money along the while. But I had a really good appointment with her. She was absolutely lovely. She's the kind of person that if I was to continue doing counselling through Gender GP, I think I'd follow up with her, because she was very, very comforting. So we had like a conversation that lasted an hour. I'm kind of like filling people in, / this might be useful for someone who wants to know a bit of information. So we had a conversation for like an hour, and at the end of it, she like wished me luck and said that she was confident based on my answers and stuff, but that I'd get my letter for you in a few days to kind of confirm everything. And then I was at work when I got my first letter, and it's a long letter that describes like all your history and all your childhood and every question that she'd asked me and everything I said and what she thought of it and such. And as expected and as hoped, I was diagnosed with gender dysphoria. And like when I say I cried, like I cried and I cried and I cried. Like I left the bar to be like, I've got an important email, can I read it? And my co-worker was like, yeah, that's fine. And I come back to the bar and I was crying my eyes out, and everyone was looking at me like, oh my god. And I was like, no, it's happy tears, it's happy tears. And my friend at the time took me outside and was just like, this is great news. And I knew I cared a lot about it. I knew that I took it very seriously. I knew that I'd thought it all through. But like, if I ever doubt myself, I just need to remember how much I cried with happiness for like probably close to 20 minutes, just because I knew this was the first step. It was like very validating, and it's not because I didn't think it was gender dysphoria, but having a professional analyze you and be like, yeah, you are right, this is right, and I do think surgery is the right route for you, and I do think you've thought about it and all that. I was just like so yeah, that was really good. And then I had to follow up with another person from Gender GP because Milesbury requires 2 letters from a non-binary individual. So the next person I spoke to was someone called Tilly. I think like Tilly Store, I can't remember her last name. But she was lovely as well. Her assessment was slightly different, but I think everyone at Gender GP kind of just figures out how they want to do it, and then essentially it's the same route. By the end you get another letter. So I didn't fully cry the second time, but I did well up, and I was like, it's happening, I've got both my letters, it's gonna be okay. So at that point I had booked my consultation with Miles, which is tomorrow, and I'm so excited and nervous and all the feels in the world. Yeah, so I booked my consultation with Miles because your letters are only valid for a certain amount of time once you've had them written up. Because essentially if you had your letters written up and then you didn't book surgery for like 2 years, some of the information in it could have changed, like what your kind of goals are, what you're hoping for, what your perspective is. So they make you kind of, not make you, but the idea is you book it close together so that everything's still kind of relevant and in date. So I booked with Miles. I got my consultation tomorrow. Surgery is generally 3 to 4 months after your consultation. So like, I don't know when that'll be yet in one sense, but I should be able to hopefully find out my date tomorrow as long as everything goes okay. I should be able to book the surgery tomorrow, which sounds crazy. But the thing is, I've got to get my chest out in front of a stranger. And it's unfathomable. Like, I've read about some trans people going to consultations and having to pull out the consultation midway because they can't cope with getting their chest out, but I just have to try and think that's the only way we can do it. Like, he's got to look at your chest and kind of work out what procedure's right for you, what your results could be, and we'll kind of talk you through it based on your skin elasticity and nipple size and all that crap that I'm just admitting and talking about on the internet. Why not, YOLO? And so it's worthwhile. It's just going to be weird AF. I've told myself I can have a chocolate bar after my consultation as a little reward, though my eating's been a bit recently. But I've done well. I've lost a lot of weight in preparation for top surgery, and just like generally to be healthier. But essentially, like, the closer you are to your fittest ideal weight, the more likelihood your results are going to be better, from my understanding. So it's been good. Not that you can't get top surgery if you're of a size that's bigger or whatever, but like, that's just kind of the recommendation. And it also means that I'll be within the BMI limit, which my surgeon requires, because certain surgeons have different requirements. So it's been good. I just I think I burnt myself out a little bit from working so much to save so much money and then eating recently, and my brain has just been like, I don't care. Like, I do care, of course I care, but I've just needed a bit of a refresh. And so I think tomorrow I'll have a little reward or whatever afterwards for my bravery, and then I'll try and start anew again. But it's been good. It's been good. I will look forward. I can't even say I'll look forward to the day, because that is such an understatement, but the prospect of being able to wake up in the morning and not have to deal with my chest, and I don't even mean that in like a binder sense, but just, I don't know, just to have my external match how internally I feel about myself would just be a wonderful, wonderful thing. I feel much better this past year living true to myself. I feel like I hadn't realised how much I felt like I was suppressing myself. Because even though, like, visually I haven't changed much aside from wearing a binder pretty much 24/7 now. Because my style's always been very similar. Like, if you go back on this channel, it's pretty much shaved head, baggy t-shirts, whatever. Like, having what feels like the right name and the right pronouns for myself and hearing them used in everyday life, there's just a deep sense of correctness that wasn't there before, a deep sense of peace. It's like sometimes my friend will be talking and she'll mention me and she'll be like, oh yeah, and they said blah blah blah, and like, I just zone out from what she's even talking about, because I'm just like, that's me. You are right, that's me. And then I'm like, oh yeah, shit, Kate was talking. I can't recommend it enough. I think for a long time, like, it was like I knew what it was, but my subconscious was just like, don't even poke at it. Leave it alone. And now that I have decided to bring it to the surface instead, it's just so much better. So, yeah. Just a little update for now on where I'm at, because I've disappeared for 10 months. Because I've been working to the literal fucking bone every month to save as much money as possible, because this surgery ain't cheap. Like, it's costing me like 10.5k, 11k, most of which I've saved so far myself, by like having like 10 to 20 pound left every month after like saving and doing everything, paying for every bill. Like, my clothes are falling apart. I need new clothes so badly, but also YOLO. My brain's like, you can buy clothes after you've paid for your surgery. But yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very content. I have experienced some transphobia in the year since coming out, but majority of people in my life have just been beeps. Majority of people in my life have just been wonderful and supportive and tried to learn about it. Like, some people in my life already knew trans people and knew about trans people. Enough people are like, what? Like, they had no concept. So it's been good, hasn't it, Bubba? And my dogs know me as Riley, and it's wonderful. I love you, Wempop. Oh, oh, I got my lip pierced. I need to get re-pierced though, because I don't like the position, but yeah, I have my lip pierced. Bubba, Bubba, Bubs. She's too shy now. Look, look, Wednesday, look. There you go. Cutie pie. I'm trying to remember what my old outro used to be. I think it's on something like, I don't know.